in official history, white people have given us the idea that they've been civilized since ancient times, but that's not particularly true. They weren't civilized until, let's say, the 1500s, when the majority of them began to become civilized and come into civilization. Here on the Wartburg Tapestry of Germany, 1440, you can see the Wildmen here attacking the indigenous Germans in the form of King Caspar and his queen, who's trapped up there in the castle. You can see the infantry, and even at the top, the archers getting ready to fend the thing from these wild men, okay, who are coming to attack just like they did when they came to sack Rome. Bear in mind, when they say in 711 the Moors crossed over into Andalusia, Spain, and then they got kicked out, they basically say we ruled only Spain for 700 years. We was ruling the entire Europe all the way up until the 1800s, until they pulled off the Tartarian reset. It wasn't just Spain, you understand, for the 700 years. And as you can see here, the Holy Roman Empire shifted from the Papal States and the two Sicilies to Germany and France, yeah? And this is how the people looked in the early Holy Roman Empire before it was sacked, yeah, by the Wildmen. Before it was sacked by the Wildmen, when Hannibal tried to rescue it, these were the people that ran the Holy Roman Empire. The same goes for Greece and Macedonia, all them places where we've been taught is wild men. Them wild men didn't civilize until late into the 1500s. You understand what I'm saying? The Moors civilized them in after the Renaissance of Europe coming through, when they came through Spain, yeah? But much of the history that they tell us with all these wild men, Italians and stuff, this is how the Italians really looked. The governors and the nobility and the senators and the emperors and the popes of the Holy Roman Empire before it was sacked, yeah, by the wild men. Here you can see one of the most important Roman emperors, Septimus Severus Maximus, who was born in Carthage, Tunisia. He was born in Africa, the same place where Hannibal was born. When we called over Hannibal as Romans because we was under attack, the empire was taken over by Vandals and Goths, who are wild men. Yeah, okay? So we called on the Berbers or barbarians or Tartarians, who is the Barbary coast of Africa. You're talking Carthage, Tunisia, Mauritania. You understand what I'm saying? Algeria, all these places was from where the strength of the Holy Roman Empire came from. It was Moorish all the way. And if you take notice of the robes that the emperor here is wearing, them robes there, they're the garbs of the Holy Roman Emperor or the King of Italy. So when they took over and sacked Rome, we went east and founded Byzantine Empire. So the Byzantine kings was the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire that shifted into Germany and into France was known as the Western Roman Empire. But both of them got sacked. Byzantine ended up getting sacked, and so did the Western Roman Empire, like we shown you, the tapestry of Wartburg with King Caspar in his castle and the wild men attacking. So they broke down Rome. Every time we put up a civil, and here's King Ferdinand I of the two Sicilies, 1770, okay? And there you see the coat of arms for the two Sicilies before it was taken by the wild men Italians after the Punic Wars with Hannibal in 247 BC. That's when the trouble started, yeah? And as we said, the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, shifted from Italy into Germany and France, and that's where you get characters like Charlemagne the Great and stuff becoming the Holy Roman Emperor of the Western Holy Roman Empire. And in both cases we were fighting to keep the wild men off, but the wild men kept coming and the Mongols behind them kept them moving. You understand? So constantly throughout history, the narrative they've given us and taken out the colour and taken out the issue, which is in fact that there was a race war going on early. And in this region of the world here, there was a battle against a banking cartel, a bunch of certain folks, yeah, who now, you know who I'm talking about, the Jays, okay? And this leads to the 30 Years' War in Germany from 1618 to 1648. As you see, the relics of Saint Maurice from the Theban Legion is actually the receipts to show you that, hold on, there was a real trouble, a war going on here between certain different types of men, yeah? And Saint Maurice was one of those black Germans who was fighting and defending the black Germans, the people of Prussia or Hanover or the Saxony region of Germany. Here you see another statue that they claim is Saint Maurice. They say every statue is Saint Maurice that they find. It could be a totally different saint. But these are the receipts to show you that it wasn't just about Martin Luther and no Catholic Reformation. That's just a cover story. They're not really telling you what was going on. The same thing happened in Ireland when we go up to 1649 with Oliver Cromwell and how he shipped them out into the colonies, the West Indies and stuff, and New England, yeah? And here we have the last emperor of Germany or Prussia, who is the Kaiser, Wilhelm II. And we're talking 1888 until 1918 when Prussia was dissolved. The Duchy of Prussia, a region in Germany, it was dissolved, but they trying to give us these fake characters. Like I say, when they changed the narrative, they also changed the lineages and the genealogies, the nobilities, the royal houses, and they gave us these fake dudes, these imposters. This guy here is Prince Edward VII, okay? A culture shock again, yeah? And these are people who they forced to abdicate from the throne and then put actors in their place and gave us imposters. If you look closely, even the medallions are different. It's not the same. One is real and one is fake. And they took this black nobility off the throne. And they tell us in our history books that it's the industrial age, the age of revolution. No, this is when the reset was pulled off. So all these characters that you see, they say abdicated or they vilify them as some type of super villain. These are the people they don't really want you to know about, like Her Majesty here. This is Queen Victoria, according to my research. That's Queen Victoria right there, okay? And they replaced her. Check her pose and how she's positioned. You understand? And so when they give you the fake one, she sits in the exact same pose. But they telling you in their story how it's just some African girl who was given to Queen Victoria. But there's no pictures of Queen Victoria with this African girl as a baby or as a woman. Here you see who they're saying is Princess Victoria of Prussia. I believe these are the sellouts who came and they was in on this sleight of hand. They was in on it. So they replaced the real Sarah Bonita Forbes, the real Queen Victoria, with this prop, this imitation that they learned from the time of King James when he was dealing with his demonology and that. And the Hanover region is the same region of Prussia where we're having the 30 Years War in Germany and stuff. So to save themselves, they must have came over to England and schemed so that, you understand what I'm saying, to replace these lot, the real King Edward VII and the real Quick Victoria. Here you see the prop, the impersonator or the actor that's following a Hollywood script. And that's who they giving us in our textbooks and telling us this melanated queen is just an African slave girl. They telling us this guy is probably just some guy dressed up in costume. They're not going to tell you this is Prince Edward VII. They're going to tell you I'm crazy. I'm one of them crazy people. Because you probably not heard this before, but this is how the Roman emperors dressed. They had certain vestiges, garbs that they wear, certain relics, staffs, crowns, robes that you wore. These are the people on the screen who killed off the Tartarian world, you understand, and pulled off this reset during their time. And now they telling you who the villain is and who the good guy is. So they telling you this guy, the hitman, is the villain, yeah? And they giving you a particular narrative when this guy is just another actor. This is not even the real dude. And everything they said about the dude is to keep you away from really having a look at what's really going on with these guys here. I'm not going to say the names, I'm just going to talk because you know how the world is set up these days. But what if, and I'm saying a what if, that the person that you know as the hitman is just some actor, is just a Hollywood impersonator following a script like the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. And the real Napoleon or the real hitman, they look like this. They have melanated skin and they was against the banking cartels that are now controlling everything. How about that? So they can't have nobody really delve into this in detail. From the moment you do, they label you a certain word and shut you down. You out of here. Do you understand? So I'm skimming the surface here to make you guys think, because like John 8:44 said, these people who are giving you the mainstream media and all that, they ain't got no truth in them. There's no truth in them. So why are they so angry with this guy, the hitman? He was doing what they were doing, right? So why are they so angry when they're the ones who went round the world as fascists, as imperialists, to put the world into this dehumanization and this modern day slavery that we're all going through today. You understand? That's them. So why do they demonize this guy particularly so much? They hate this guy. They don't want... Yo, look at King Leopold, the one of Belgium, who killed off 100 million Africans. They hate this guy even more. You understand? His figure ain't nowhere near theirs. Yeah? Yo, so this is the only real picture of the hitman. And think about it. If he was so hated and so wanted, so many of the Allied forces wanting him dead and that, why would he hardly ever be in public? You ain't seen him like that was written about him. He hardly ever is in public. All that stuff you see with him going around like a madman having all these speeches, that's a Hollywood script. That's not real. And it's the same thing with Selassie, the king of Italy, Victor Emmanuel III. He's the real Roman. In his time, his reign, he should have been the king of Italy too, of the Roman Empire. That's why they were fighting him. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they were fighting him. The real probably wouldn't have fought him. The real probably wouldn't have fought him. You understand? And went to Ethiopia. But the props, the ones that they put in, I hope you're understanding where I'm going here. I'm trying to be careful so I don't slip up. You understand? But look at the garbs. That's the same garbs that Selassie was wearing as the Holy Roman Emperor. But the truth is in plain sight. But most people is not going to be able to see it, man, because they relying on the mainstream media, old media. Those is John 8:44. Those is Revelation 2:9. Those is Revelation 3:9. We in the days now of Isaiah 11:11. You understand? So my man, the hitman, even had Muslims, yeah, and Israelites in his army, in his forces. Why? Because he was a Moor. He was a Moor. That's why he knew who the real Israelites were. He knew America was the land of the real Israelites and what they were doing over there. And he weren't having it. And he was against the bankers and the whole shit. So they demonized him. They gave us a false story. Why do you think he's the only one who shake Jesse Owens' hand? Why is he shake Jesse Owens' hand? They self-telling you now he got beyond the ice wall. He was in contact with extraterrestrials. That's what they are telling you this. This is documented stuff. He had advanced technology. He had flying saucers, UFOs and shit, man. He went beyond the ice wall. Yo, you got to re-look at all of this stuff here. You might think I'm just capping. I'm not. I'm not even looking at a paper or nothing. I'm coming strictly off my head. So even when they say the eugenics program, he know that we was the superior race, the master race. He knew we was the real Aryans. The Aryans was Moors. That's why him and his guys went all around the world, even back to the Indus Valley, Harappa, to look for us and our stuff and claim all our stuff back for us. Yeah? He said he's seen the new man. He's seen the God's man. But they've flipped it around now to make you feel it's the actor one. So now we associate all of the actor one with all of the Muzungu stuff. When this is the description of my man. According to research published in 2010, his DNA came from Ethiopia. Look what it says. Behold, out of the hitman himself, yeah, is Swavi. Is Swavi. We in a revolution right now. People have got to understand this is our new Napoleon right there. Or hitman right there. That's what the media are going to do now. They're going to make him seem like the new hitman. It's that time, guys. And so that's why I'm saying, that's why this work is so important. He already went to the dark side of the moon and has got a base. They had a base on the dark side of the moon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Since 1945, guys. He escaped from the chicken farm. He didn't die in that place where they said he died. And they found it. That ain't my man. My man escaped then. And then when you see certain UFOs pop up like they did in 1952 over America, like we put in these glorious books, that was my man. That was them, man. Them man are still functioning right now, running things. They've given us a false story, man. And that's why they want to shut people like me up. You understand? They like, yo, keep your thumb on this guy because my man's on the money. They had hovercrafts and shit, man. UFOs with cannons on them bitches. They pop pulling up and spraying you down because they knew what the thing was. They escaped from the thing, man, the chicken farm. And so they giving us a false narrative. Everything they've told you about my man, the hitman, is bullshit. Look, that's them man out there, if you ask me. Ask Admiral Byrd, who he seen, yeah, when he went through that hole and went beyond the ice wall. Ask him who he bumped into. He bucked up into them, man. These men were out there moving in advanced technology and shit. They've left this chicken farm behind. They escaped, man. They did it. We're the ones here that's still believing in this bullshit. Bible, Quran, Torah coming from some wild man thing. You understand what I'm saying? It's all some wild man thing. The food, the air, everything. And they giving you a false narrative. Your world is probably turned upside down watching this. I'm throwing this on Rumble because I know what's going to happen when I throw this out. They're going to say it's this, it's that. I'm just telling you this to make you think. This is not to hate nobody. This is to make you think and question your authorities because your leaders are lying to you. You better make your way to your nearest Jedefre Memnon, TZT Book Mafia. Because look, I done dropped it on you now. Earth is a closed system, but the moon that's in this underneath the dome, my man been on the dark side. Been had a base on there since 1945, man. NASA gassing to you guys. They gassing to you guys. They pull off a reset. My man, the hitman, man like Napoleon and stuff, they was the last defenders of the old world, Tartaria. They had the technology, they had the knowledge. And so the people today that's running shit wanted to shut them up. Mafia for life.